This brand just made over $1 million per month back to back, with last month being their most profitable one ever. But 4 months ago they were doing less than half of that and just couldn't break through, no matter what they tried. In this video I'll break down the exact email strategy that took them from 440k per month to over $1 million per month in just 3 months. I won't be holding anything back and I'll show you everything we've done so that you can steal our strategy and implement it for your own e-commerce brand. So here's the proof of what I just said. In August 2025, this brand did 445k revenue and 157k out of that came from email alone, which was a bit over 35%. Back in December, a few months later, they have crossed $1 million and emails have generated almost $450,000 in just 1 month, which was over 44% of their total revenue. And I'm showing you December on purpose because they have done well over 1 million in November. They have done close to 1.1 million, but you'll probably say, yeah, that was quite obvious. It's easy because it was November. So on purpose, I'm showing you December, which was also their next 1 million month. November was the first one. And then the period from September to December, in total, the brand has done 3.5 million and me and my team have generated over $1.4 million just from email and SMS alone. And you can see the growth, what looks like right there. So we took over in September, which was our first month together, which was already their best month in the year, right? Because like previously, pre-September, their best month was May, around 200k, let's say, but in September we did already more than that, ending at like 220k, 225k, and then in October it was already close to 300k, in November 470k. So the growth was pretty amazing. And as you can see, and that's gonna be a theme throughout the whole video, we didn't set up everything from scratch. They already had pretty good fundamentals and things they were doing, because ultimately they were already driving 35% of the revenue from email, so it was doing pretty good. The difference that made them scale to 7 figures was taking email from being good to being great. And that's exactly what we have done for them. We have helped them take their whole Klaviyo strategy from being good or decent to being great, right? And that's what I'm gonna cover in this video as well. So first, let's start with deliverability, which it was very good. Like all around, it was 54% open rate across the whole account. Their Google Post Mastery tools was also looking very healthy and great as well. Plus, on top of that, they had a very low unsubscribe and spam rate. So ultimately, it was already great, which is why we're able to multiply their revenue so quickly. Again, I don't want to take credibility for something I haven't done. So I need to just tell you that, for this brand, they were already having great deliverability and we didn't have to fix it, which honestly was amazing, because again, it just made it so much easier for us to drive the results fast and scale them in just a few months from 500k a month, even less than that, to over $1 million per month. Then for the list growth, pretty similar theme. When we took over, pop-up was already converting pretty well. It was at 11%, over 11% conversion rate at scale, which is amazing. What we're doing right now is just running A/B tests continuously to optimize it even further, but overall it was already amazing. And again, I don't want to take credit for that. This was already done before, they already had it. So they had great deliverability, they had great list growth, but they had okay flows and average campaigns. And this is mainly what was the driver of the improvements, which is email flows, because this is where I'm gonna cover a bit more, because again, the previous two are honestly already pretty good. The main thing we're doing is again, still optimizing a bit more, but not as much as we did for email flows, campaigns, and segmentation. So for email flows, the main thing will be volume. You can see that in September, which was again the first month we worked with them, the volume was quite similar to the previous months. It was actually even less than, for example, in April or March. But if you look at the revenue, which is the blue bar, it was already the highest out of any previous month, right? Even with the lower volume than the previous month. So volume didn't solve this thing, right? Because they already had the flows, they were set up, and they're honestly doing pretty well. Again, the whole account was already generating 35% of their total revenue, which is already pretty good. But what we did there was taking them to making everything great. So the main thing we have done was testing faster triggers for the welcome flow, their site abandonment flow, and also post-purchase flows. Another big win was fixing their win-back flow. And it's not like they didn't have emails. They had emails and the flow was live, but they had the wrong filters, and because of that, it wasn't sending any emails for months. So they really missed out on thousands of dollars in extra revenue. Then we also added more SMS flows because they already had welcome and abandoned checkout. So what we've done is we added abandoned cart and then browse abandonment flow as well, especially for SMS. Once again, they had that for email. And then we have A/B tested emails in the welcome flow, current path versus new emails versus top performing campaigns. And then we just tested a few subject lines in the preview texts. So again, it doesn't seem like it's, something outrageous, something unheard of. These are just a few small things they were missing out on that they weren't even fully aware of. And they, allowed us to take their flows from doing okay to improving them a bit further and making them perform great. So flows were like the first thing we have, like improved for them like right away, and they already saw the improvement in the first month because revenue-wise, previously their best month from flows specifically was around 115k. Then after we took over the first month, we already did 165k, so that's like 50k more from flows in just 1 month by making these small tweaks. Again, they might seem insignificant, but they're super important, and you can see that in this chart right there. Obviously later on, like, the volume kept going up, so the flows kind of behaved accordingly, and as the volume was going up, so did the revenue, and that's how it works with flows. But now that brings me to campaigns and segmentation, which was a huge piece that we have solved for them and fixed it, and ultimately just turned their email list into a profit machine. Because during Q4, even though they're scaling hard, email was the main profit driver for the whole brand. Ads were doing amazing as well, like, no doubt about that, they're doing amazing, but most of the profit came from emails, which is why, email is also so important. So you can see that we absolutely crushed it in Q4. You can also see at the recipients at volume and kind of what happened in Q4, pretty much, where October was like the first month where we like fully took over, and we started, sending all of the emails as we should be sending them and as we wanted from the start. And you can see it looking at the volume as well, where looking at the recipients alone, we have targeted like 600k recipients, and previously their best month ever was like around 500k recipients, so already 20% more than the best month ever before that. Revenue wise, similar thing to flows. We were pretty much the first month of like fully managing the campaigns. In September we did them partially. In October we did them fully. First month campaigns have generated 140k, and previously that was around 100k. So again, 40k more in just the first month than their previous best month ever. And you can kind of see the improvements year over year as well. But yeah, like overall campaigns have been absolutely amazing in the entire of Q4, and this is where we did most of the work and generated way more revenue than before as well, because previously this brand did not have a real email strategy. So what they would do is they would send emails from time to time, and it wasn't absolutely consistent at all. Sometimes that would be 3 emails per week, sometimes 1, and sometimes 0. They also kept using the same segments as well, which wasn't bad because again their deliverability was good and they were making some sales, but it wasn't the most optimal for maximizing the sales. So here's what we did that took their campaigns revenue from pretty much 40k a month to over 200k a month. Again, I'm not even referring to November, which has done like 200, almost 20. I'm referring to December, which was the second month that has crossed 200k from campaigns, and their second 1 million month as well. So the first thing was volume. We started doing 3 emails per week, and now we're upping it to 4 per week. Obviously during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that was even more than that. Sometimes we did 2 per day, sometimes we even did 3 per day. But right now, like the, let's say evergreen cadence is 3 emails per week. Right now, some weeks we're doing 4. We started actually doing it this month. So we're still kind of experimenting and seeing, what works. But 3 per week is our absolute basis. And right now we're working on adding more and seeing what we can do just to maximize it even further without sacrificing the, core evergreen strategy. Then consistency. So again, previously they would send campaigns from time to time, but it wasn't consistent. And one of the big things about email marketing and getting results over long term is just being consistent. So we started executing higher volume emails relentlessly every single week. We're not giving up on like any campaigns, like that's our job. So this is also why, for example, you hire an agency so that you can have higher volume, consistent, high quality outputs as well, high quality emails without sacrificing anything. Just staying consistent alone is going to help you tremendously make more money from emails in general. Then copy and design. We started testing more angles, more messaging, and then also improved the design side because their designs were not bad, but we just made them more beautiful, which is like, also how it works. You want your emails to look very, very good, very clean, not necessarily cluttered, which was a bit their case where like, all of these sections were like a bit cluttered together. There wasn't enough space between all of these sections. So again, we made the design a bit better. And then we also improved the visual hierarchy to maximize all of the clicks, all of the above default, and so on and so forth. And then we expanded the segments beyond the regular engaged segments to reach more people. And looking at the recipients increase will show you that where like, technically we could have just expanded them once, and you can do it for your brand as well. but in reality, you want to target your full list at least once per quarter. I know that some people will tell you to do it only during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but in my opinion, you should be doing it once per quarter or at least once every 6 months. You need to be smart about it. If your deliverability is bad, obviously don't do it, but if it's good, then you need to do it absolutely, because what's gonna happen is when you engage or expand your engaged segments once, you will target your whole list and your engaged segments will grow. Let's say you increased your engaged segment size by, let's say, 20k people. Well, if you're sending 3 campaigns per week, which gives you roughly 12 per month, that's going to give you a huge increase in reach per month, right? Following this example, that would be like 240k recipients reached more every single month. Throughout the year, it's gonna be just crazy, like close to 3 million recipients more just by doing one expansion of these segments. So again, this is what we've done for them as well. We're still playing with segments, sometimes going more narrow, sometimes more broad, but ultimately you need to be doing it on a campaign basis. You shouldn't be, scheduling your whole month of campaigns in just one day and then, kind of not controlling what's going on. You need to be scheduling them on weekly basis, like that's the worst case scenario. Ideally, you want to be scheduling them a few days before this end, analyze what's going on and see if you can expand your segments or not. Because if you can, that's exactly what you should do. And now that brings me to my last point. But before I get into that, if you're looking for someone to do pretty much the same thing we have done for this brand, where we fully take over your email marketing, we manage everything from list growth to flows to deliverability to campaigns, copy, design, segments, everything else, and you want to see the results that this brand saw, then you can book a call with me using the link below this video. There's gonna be a quick, again, link in the description of the video. You can just click it, book a call with me, and then I'm going to see if we're able to help you. If we are, I'm going to show you what it would look like. But now back to the video. So the last thing we've done for them is expanding and maximizing their SMS result. Again, you can see, kind of looking at the chart, how that grew. In September, we actually did quite a lot for SMS, and you can also see that, again, it was their best month ever compared to all of the previous months in terms of the revenue, which was our first month together. Obviously, later on, we did more in November because of the Black Friday, and then in December as well, Cyber Monday. So, but regardless of that, September was still their best month ever for SMS once we took over, right? Like then previously any other month was worse than what we've done in September, crossed it by like 20k revenue from SMS more, which is pretty good as well. You can see the growth from the period from September to December, how their email revenue grew, SMS revenue by almost 190%. We obviously sent way more SMS, and ultimately during these few months, SMS made them 240k, which is pretty significant. Previously, they were not doing any SMS campaigns whatsoever, and they had only 2 SMS flows, which was welcome flow and abandoned checkout flow, which again is better than most of the brands I'm auditing, or the ones the ones that we took over. Most of them don't have anything for SMS, so this brand having welcome flow and abandoned checkout flow was amazing already, because you can see it was still making them 30 to 20k per month in revenue, which is again pretty significant, and just that's what SMS should do. So what we fixed was pretty much few small simple things. We started sending SMS campaigns. It's really as simple as that. But again, if you're running everything yourself, or maybe you have an internal team that doesn't do everything as they should, because for example, they're doing all of these other things like copy for your ads, copy for your landing pages, and so on, they might just not know the best practices. But it's really that simple. Like we just started sending SMS. A few campaigns a month, especially during November, you can you can kind of do higher volume, and it won't affect your list or people unsubscribing. So this is what we did, and then we just added more SMS flows. So we added abandoned cart and browse abandoned flows, which then gave us the core pre-purchase flows. Right now the goal is to expand it to post-purchase flows as well, but again we always start with the lowest hanging fruit to generate the revenue, which is exactly what we've done for them. So yeah, that was pretty simple for SMS. Again, if you have an SMS list and you're not using it, you can implement these exact learnings, which is start sending campaigns and then implement your core flows, and you'll be doing way more revenue than what you're doing right now. But other than that, I would say this is it for this video. Again, it was pretty, I would say, high level, even though you might think, there wasn't anything specific. But the truth is that it's not gonna be, case study for beginners. Like if you're a beginner, you can go watch my other videos where we take an account from scratch, where they have no setup, and then we set up everything from scratch to where, email generates 30 to 40% of the brand's revenue. This case study was about making things better than they were, and about how that made scaling easier, because we unlocked just so much revenue that it made them a lot of more profit, which they were able to put into ads, which then allowed them to scale to 7 figures. It's not like email alone did it, because obviously ads need to be doing amazing as well, but email helps you do it, and it helps you do it more profitably, and this is why you need to have the right email strategy in place. So again, if you enjoyed this video, if you're running an e-com brand and want someone to get you similar results to this brand, book a call with me. It's gonna be entirely free. I'm gonna audit your account, see how we can help you. I'm gonna give you the action plan that you can implement yourself, or I can do it for you if you'd like to. Obviously, that's what we do at my agency with my team, so I'll be more than happy to do it. But other than that, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, take care.